state of Israel, Lord God, as well. In Jesus' name we pray. And everybody said amen and amen. Glory be to God. I want to leave you with a song that says, I made it through. We invite you to tune in the same time, the same place every week for this Associate Ministers broadcast. Spread the word. Tell your family, your friends, your neighbors, your acquaintances. Let them know. Let them know that there's a Pentecostal full gospel radio station that's dedicated to proclaiming the message of the cross. And I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that as you tune in, as they tune in, you will be blessed. We love you. Take care. And God bless.
I have already come. Nobody knows like I know where God's brought me from. Sometimes I felt forsaken in the middle of the flames. I held on through it all, and I'm glad that I can say I made it through the fire. I made it out alive. God's been so good to me. I've got to testify what the devil meant for evil. God worked it for my good, and I made it. Oh, I made it. Thank God I made it through. Well, I've cried some bitter tears through many lonely nights. The devil even told me I would lose my mind, but God has never failed me. He's never let me down. I'm a living testimony that He turned it all around. I made it through the fire. I made it out alive. God's been so good to me. I've got to testify what the devil meant for evil. God worked it for my good, and I made it. Oh, I made it. Thank God I made it through. So good to me. I've got to testify what the devil meant for evil. God worked it for my good, and I made it. Oh, I made it. Thank God I made it through. Well, I made it through the fire. I made it out alive. God's been so good to me. I've got to testify what the devil meant for evil. God worked it for my good, and I made it. Oh, I made it. Thank God I made it through. What the devil meant for evil, God worked it for my good, and I made it. Oh, I made it. I made it. Oh, I made it. Thank God I made it through.
You have been listening to the Associate Ministers broadcast featuring ministers from Truth Chapel World Evangelism Fellowship Church. We hope you have been blessed by today's broadcast. We want to remind you that you can email or call us anytime with prayer requests. Please send an email to prayer@truthchapel.org or call 864-327-8725. If you would like to pay your tithe or give an offering to Truth Chapel, please mail your donation to Truth Chapel, P.O. Box 1905, Spartanburg, South Carolina, 29304. Or you can donate online by visiting our website at www.truthchapel.org. Again, our mailing address is Truth Chapel, P.O. Box 1905, Spartanburg, South Carolina, 29304. And our website is www.truthchapel.org. Thank you.
I see. 'Twas grace was grace that taught my heart to fear. And it was grace I first believed. Oh, yes. And how precious did that grace appear. Oh, the hour I first
Hello, everybody. This is Scott Corbin inviting you to join us this week, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, as we have the April Radiothon right here on WXPS FM 92.1. As we do every month, we will be raising money to keep this radio station on the air for another month, as well as raising money in our building fund and other needs, such as future television outreaches. Please join us at noon and 5 p.m. Thursday and Friday, 10 a.m. on Saturday. We're going to be looking for you.
I believe in a hill called Mount Calvary. I believe whatever the cost, and when time it has surrendered and earth it is no more, I'll still cling to the old rugged cross. Though I can't see your holy face and your throne in heaven above, it seems so far away. Though I can't touch your nail-scarred hands, I have a deep, unspeakable joy that makes my faith to stand. Lord, I believe in you. I'll always believe in you. Though I can't see you with my eyes, deep in my heart, your presence I find. Lord, I believe in you, and I'll keep my trust in you. Let this whole world say what they may, no one can take this joy away. Lord, I believe. Born from above, you are God's only chosen one. and only true way, way to the Father's heart. You died for all sin, then you rose to live again, conquering death, hell, and the grave, so that I might live. Oh Lord, I believe in you. I'll always believe in you. Though I can't see you with my eyes, deep in my heart, your presence I find. Lord, I believe in you, and I'll keep my trust in you. Let this whole world say what they may, no one can take this joy away. Lord, I believe in you. I'll always believe in you. Although I can't see you with my eyes, deep in my heart, your presence I find. Lord, I believe in you, and I'll keep my trust in you. Let this whole world say what they may, no one can take this joy away. Lord, I believe. Lord, I believe. Lord, I believe.
You're listening to WXPS LP 92.1 FM in Spartanburg, South Carolina.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. President Trump is signaling that the U.S. and China are getting close to reaching a deal to end their ongoing trade dispute.
It'll be a great deal for our farmers. Technology, intellectual property theft, everything is covered.
More details could be announced after the president meets with the Chinese vice premier this afternoon. The House has voted to win American involvement in the Yemen war, rebuffing the Trump administration's support for the Saudi-led military campaign. Texas Congressman Michael McCall, the House Foreign Affairs Committee's top Republican, says the House is misinterpreting the War Powers Resolution.
This precedent will empower any single member to use privileged war powers procedures to force congressional referendums that could disrupt U.S. security cooperation agreements with more than 100 countries around the world.
It's the first time Congress has invoked the decades-old War Powers Resolution to try and stop a foreign conflict. Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy accusing Democrats of weaponizing the IRS to go after the president.
McCarthy responding to a request from the Ways and Means Committee for copies of the president's tax returns.
Not only is it a waste of time, it sets a dangerous standard of having the federal government used as a political weapon.
Speaker Nancy Pelosi says the tax code requires the Treasury Department to comply.
The Secretary shall furnish, shall, not may, should, could, shall furnish such committee with any return or return information specified in such request.
The committee has formally requested 6 years' worth of the president's returns.
Capitol Hill correspondent Wally Hines. Also on SRNnews.com, President Trump threatening to slap tariffs on cars produced in Mexico. That's unless the country does more to stop migrants trying to enter the U.S. On Wall Street, the Dow is up 179 points. This is SRN News. President Trump has designated April as Second Chance Month to highlight obstacles faced by those who have served time in prison. These include difficulty renting an apartment or securing a job because of having a criminal record, despite having paid their debt to society. Jim Forbes of the nonprofit Prison Fellowship says that while prisoners do face discrimination, the president's declaration is helping to raise awareness.
We've realized as a society, in particular Christians, that our criminal justice system is not fair. And we need to do a lot to make it fair. People who have never served time don't think of the barriers and obstacles that other people who get out of prison face.
Forbes says it's time that his group feels it's time to open doors of opportunity for those. More information on Second Chance Month is available at their website, www.prisonfellowship.org/Mike Gallagher. This is SRN News. An Israeli soldier is finally being laid to rest in his home country. The latest from the Media Line's Michael Friedson.
Fulfilling a vow that no soldier will be left on the battlefield, the body of one of Israel's longest missing in action has been returned home after 37 years. Zachary Baumel was born in Brooklyn, New York. A member of the Tank Corps, he was captured along with comrades Yehuda Katz and Zvi Feldman in action against the Syrian army following the fierce Battle of Sultan Yaqub, fought near the Lebanon-Syria border in the First Lebanon War of 1982. The body was reportedly handed over several days ago to Baumel's parents by a third-party country. Many are surmising Russia. Little else is known, but Israeli military sources say the body was retrieved through what they call operational activities of the intelligence community. I'm Michael Friedson, SRN News, Jerusalem.
More details at themedialine.org and srnnews.com.
Dry today, then showers return for Friday. The WXPS weather forecast, clear this evening, then becoming mostly cloudy for tonight, with showers developing after midnight, low near 51. Winds remain southeast at 5 to 10. Friday, cloudy with periods of rain, will climb to around 64. Then showers taper off with areas of fog possible on the overnight, 48. Our weekend outlook, partly cloudy and lower 70s for Saturday. Thunderstorms likely for Sunday with a high in the mid-70s. For 92.1 WXPS, I'm meteorologist James Covington.
And currently in Spartanburg, sunshine and 76 degrees.
It's just about home time with Scott Corbin on WXPS FM 92.1 and online at WXPSFM.com.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome into Just About Home Time. And that also means we are in hour number 2 of our April Radio-thon. And we're going to start off this hour reminding you of the great total that we got started with in the noon hour, but we've got some more to add to that. Our radio total now is $1,331 toward our $1,600 goal that is outstanding to be that far along already. Now, that's a little bit higher, $105 higher, actually, than we ended at 1 p.m. today, and that's thanks to a gift from our son Jeremiah of $5 and our friend Pastor Ronnie Mitchum of $100. So 105 added to the total of 1226, I believe that would have been before. That brings us again to 1331 for the total in the radio fund. And then in the building fund, we still have $4 toward our $2,000 goal. Got a ways to go there. And a 401 total in our television goal of 260. So we're doing great with radio, fantastic in television, but we got a ways to go in the building fund, and that may well be where you come in. So thank you for joining us today. Nikki's going to tell you how to get in touch with us.
All right, so again, we need to get 300 for the radio, and we need to meet that really this hour. Let's get the radio goal met, and then we need to raise $2,000 minimum for the building fund just to pay off renovation debt, and I pray that you're going to be a part of that. And I want to say again, like I said earlier, for our radio listeners, you may say, well, why should I be part of the renovation costs? Why should that be something I take part in? And I give you 2 reasons. One, because the radio station is here in this building, and by moving to this location, it has allowed us to expand what we're doing here in the radios and in all media outreach, because now we're able to also begin recording TV programming. We're also we're able to open up a bookstore. So if you live in Spartanburg, you can now take advantage of that. We were able to have a prayer room, a place where you can come and pray. So by moving downtown, it opened up a lot more for our radio listeners to be able to be a part of. And so, again, we asked you to do that. So that was the reason number one. And reason number two is because, as we shared, much of the giving, most of it for radio came from people who attend Truth Chapel. And so we say to the radio listeners, if our people here at the church are giving so above and beyond their tithes to keep this radio station on the air, can you help support the building renovation costs? We need your help there. We need your help, because if we weren't running the radio station, our people in the church, I'm sure, would still give, and they would give it to help with the building fund. But they're giving to keep the radio on the air for you.
That's right.
So I'm asking you to pray about being a part of this. So again, the ways to give, you can go to our website, wxpsfm.com, and click on the donate link. It will take you safely and securely through PayPal, and you can give easily that way. You can give us a call at 864-327-8725. We don't currently have anyone answering the phone, but if you leave your name and phone number, we'll call you back when we go off the air.
If I could interrupt a second on that. We had somebody call in our studio line, which is just one digit off, a moment ago, and they may have been calling for a donation, but we were on there live, so we couldn't answer that. But please call that number that Nikki's given. I'm going to get you to repeat it, and you can leave a voicemail there. Unfortunately, we just don't have a telephone operator for this hour, so leave a voicemail. We will call you back, and you can, when we call you back, you can give us your credit or debit card number over the phone if that's what you were intending to do. If you were calling to say you're going to mail in a gift, just leave that information in the voicemail if you would. But they were calling the 8724 number, but if you give that correct number again for donations.
The number is 864-327-8725. And again, leave your name and phone number, and we will call you back, and then we can take your credit or debit card information over the phone to process. You can also text the word GIVE, G-I-V-E, to this number, 864-507-9382. Make sure you keep those two numbers separate. One is for calling, one is for texting. When you text the word GIVE to 864-507-9382, what'll happen is it'll come up and prompt you for your credit or debit card information, and then from then on there out, you just tell it how much you want to send. You can mail a check or money order, the P.O. Box 1905, Spartanburg, South Carolina 29304. But if you're going to do that, do let us know what you're sending so we can include it in today's totals. Or you can stop by at 250 North Church Street. Again, we don't have anyone in the bookstore right now, so the door's locked. So you just have to.
Don't stop by now.
It's not early.
Unless they can call and tell us that they're out there.
If you let us know you're coming, and that way we can go down. But it's not really an easy time for someone to stop by. But tomorrow when we come back, we'll be fully staffed. But for right now, we're just a little bit shorthanded.
Right, and so get in touch with us. And I wanted, first of all, Brother Donnie Beck says, I'm praying God will meet your needs. Thank you, Brother Donnie, and pray that you are doing well. And we're going to talk about Brother Donnie Swaggart's meetings here soon during this hour, I hope. And Brother Donnie Beck, we are praying with you that you're going to be able to attend those meetings, and we're going to be looking forward to having you back in Spartanburg. And also, I see that Pastor Ronnie Mitchum joined us. I don't know if he's still online with us or not, but I wanted right quick, just in case he is, let's do it while he's with us. I wanted right quick to mention his book again, The Cost of Colors. I had the privilege of interviewing Pastor Ronnie on this program a couple of weeks ago, and we talked about the release of his new book, and it is available, as you can see there on your screen now. It's available on Amazon.com, and I believe he also told me it was available through Barnes & Noble. I guess through their website, maybe in the stores as well, I'm not sure. But get your copy. It's available hardback and paperback, and this will be a story that will inspire you and bless you very, very much. And Pastor Ronnie is helping us out with what we're doing here with this ministry. So even if he hadn't sent a donation today, admittedly, that reminded me to mention his book, but we should have mentioned it anyway. We're glad to get to promote things on this radio station that are put out by people that we trust their preaching and trust the doctrine they uphold, and that's why Pastor Ronnie's on this radio station every Thursday at 12:30 a.m. and 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time. So his program aired today. But with that being said, let me just remind you and ask you again, as Nikki's been saying, please help us out during this radiothon if you can. Our grand total right now is $1,736 that has been given among radio, building, and television. And one gift came in to get us to the 401 at television. That represents the giving of one person. But what that means is it's the first month that we've gotten anything in our television goal. We've I think this is the third month we've talked about that. And I was thinking the other day that some of the folks at the TV stations we talked to, and they were nice enough to come out here to the church and meet with us. And then we just kind of, it seemed to them that we kind of dropped the ball, but it's just been a very busy time. Plus, no money had come in up until now. But now that we've got something, we're going to get busy making some of those 1-minute spots to air during the local news on weekday mornings, probably 2 mornings out of the week is what we budgeted for, with a goal of 260. So we're going to get started on that sometime, we hope early summer maybe. We'll have that on the air, and then be able to move forward from that. We hope one day soon to have a weekly 30-minute program. Might talk more about that in a little bit, but we're so thankful for that total of 401. Again, that was given by Patsy in honor of Brother Joe Walker, with his birthday being today. Once again, Joe, happy birthday. Radio's doing great, less than $300 now. Will get us up to that goal of $1,600. But in the building fund, our Elijah has given us that $4 for the building fund. That's our son that just turned 10 years old. He gave $4 he made $5 for doing some work at my mother's house, and he asked Nikki what the tithe was, and she said the tithe would be 50 cents on $5. So he said, I'm going to give 50 cents then as a tithe. We'll take the $4.50 and put it in the building fund. So we're very happy about that. And so that's a 10-year-old getting us started on the building fund. So we ask you, what can you do, grown-ups out there that are being blessed by the ministries that come out of this building in downtown Spartanburg? We want you to help out.
Yeah, and I'll say, all of our kids support the ministry here in a lot of ways. They support with their time and effort. They spend so much time here, because when we're here, most of the time they are too, and put in long hours. And then they also help out. They help clean every week. They've got different, when we go downstairs to start cleaning things up for service on Sunday, they each know what their chore is, and they start working. They help run audio and video equipment. They help sometimes with other stuff, like when we record these TV programs, they're here helping. I mean, they really are involved in every aspect of this ministry, but then they also give tithes and offerings. And whenever they get any money, whether it's for a birthday or whether it's for working or something like that, some kind of chores, things they do, I don't usually pay them for cleaning house, because to me, that's their obligation. They're responsible for helping clean. But if they do something extra, sometimes I'll throw them a little extra money too, because they worked extra. And then, of course, they sometimes do things for Scott's mother or other people. And they know when they do those things, when they get money, we've taught them the responsibility of tithing, but they quite often do above that. They quite often give above what the tithe is. And or sometimes they'll just ask me if I can if I can get so much money out of their bank or whatever to give, if it's okay to do that. And, so that's their hearts. That's their hearts. And I say that to say, if these children, and they're being taught the importance of the gospel, they're being taught the importance of the work of God. But if they can understand how important it is and want to be a part of it in the way that they can, how much more should us adults be that way? We need to do what we are able to do. And, we're all able to pray. We're all able to give financially. Some are able to do other things. Some are called to be preachers. Some are called to help with music. Some are, called with different things that God gives them to do. Some are called to just help around the church with some of the tasks like cleaning and things like that. But everyone is called to give. And as far as this station goes, as far as the outreach we have over media, you are called to be a part of it too. If you're blessed by, or you believe in what's going forth, you're called to be a part of it. And the way you're called to be a part of it is by helping out financially, giving to this ministry. We run into people from time to time who are listening to this station, and we're grateful for that. We're very thankful to meet people and hear from them about what the station means to them. But we need more people to also say, I want to give and make sure it stays on the air. I want to make sure it has the funds needed to do what else is out there, realizing that, you know, sometimes our limits are the finances. But, you know, those limits don't have to be there. You know, I was teaching in the kids class last night, and we were talking about when Moses was preparing for the tabernacle, to build the tabernacle. And he told the Israelites that what materials were needed and what they needed to do. And it said how the Israelites began bringing things and in abundance, and finally he had to get to the place to say, no more. I've got more than enough to do the work here. No more. We're good. And of course, the kids in the class, they all kind of were like, wow, wouldn't that be amazing if we had more than enough here? Because even the children in our kids class, they understand the work we do here. They understand that we raise money every month, and that usually we don't meet the goals. And they were all like, wouldn't that be great if we could, you know, have more than enough? And it's like, yes, that would be wonderful if we could have that. But I believe that's God's will. It's for people to give so much that the church isn't having to beg, and the church isn't having to scrape by, but the church is able to do what it's called to do and move forward as it's able to move forward, because the funds are there. And I don't think it's God's will for the church to scrape by. I think it happens because we live in a backslidden world. We live in a time where, you know, people aren't taught as they should be about tithes and offerings. They don't understand the importance of it. They don't understand the importance of being a part of it. And that's why we sometimes get on here and we teach about that and say it's important.
Right.
It's important to be a part of it. And we need you. We need you to do your part and see the work prosper.
Right. And while we acknowledge that giving in the church world is not what it should be, and a lot of times giving goes to wrong things when people are giving. But at the same time, on the opposite end of the spectrum are those who give and give and give, and we've seen that so many times among the people here at Truth Chapel, as well as among people that don't even live in Spartanburg, and they are viewers and listeners who have just helped out over and over and over again. And so, yeah, we just need to say thank you. Thank you to those of you who are one of those, and you've done so very much, so often, sometimes every month, and others as you can. You've given tremendously, and we thank you so very, very much. And it's not those that we want to come back to again and say, hey, how about doing it again? But we want people who are being blessed who have not given yet. They've never given. That's what I'm saying. They've never given into this work. And I'm going to do my usual little routine here. I want you to tell me, if you would please, and I'm looking to see if we've lost our Facebook feed here. Maybe not. Maybe we haven't. I want you to tell me how many people from the Spartanburg area have given this month who are not attendees of Truth Chapel. I'm thinking 2. I may be wrong, and that's really coming over loud on the microphone.
Sorry.
Can you bring that up right quick? I'm thinking of 2 ladies who I know have done that this month. Tell me if I missed anybody.
Yes, I think it's just 2 from this area.
Okay, so that's better than at times we've been at this point in the radiothon, and that simply has not happened thus far. But we really need to be doing better than that. And again, people who live in Spartanburg, that means you have access to listen to 92.1 FM, as well as listening and watching online like other people do. But you can get it on your radio, maybe in your office or in your home, certainly get it in your car, almost anywhere in Spartanburg County. There might be some further some of the perimeters of the county where you can't quite get it if you're a long way from our tower site, which is just above downtown Spartanburg. But most of you can. Most of you listening to me right now, you listen on FM a good bit, and you're able to, maybe even more than you get to listen. You are the ones I'm speaking to and saying, would you please consider being a supporter? Now, last month, I'm trying to remember, I know there was one gentleman that I don't think we had ever heard from before, from Spartanburg, and he gave, I believe it was that Saturday morning when things really started to pick up in the March Radiothon. And that's what and he gave a very significant gift too, and that's what we need to have happening, but not just one new one every month, but we need multiple people in Spartanburg every month who are finding out about the radio station and wanting to support it, or else maybe they have been listening for a while, and we're not going to quiz you on that and say, well, how long have you been listening? We're just now hearing from you. Not going to do that, but you may have been listening for a couple of years now or more, but you're realizing this is something that's deserving of your support if you want it to stay on the air. So even though we're very thankful that we got a couple of folks in Spartanburg who are giving, who don't go to Truth Chapel, we realize also that 2 out of, and we don't know how many there are, but there's a lot more than 2. I rest assured of that. And only 2 of that many, ever how many it is, means there's some folks that need to be serious about giving today.
Right. Let me remind you how you can give. Go to the website, wxpsfm.com. Click on the donate link. Give us a call, 864-327-8725. Leave your name and phone number, and we can call you back later to get your credit or debit card information to process. Text the word GIVE to 864-507-9382. And when you do that, it will prompt you for your credit or debit card information so you can give that way. Mail a check or money order to P.O. Box 1905, Spartanburg, South Carolina, 29304. But if you're going to do that, let us know what you're sending so we can include it in today's totals. Or, as we said earlier, normally you can stop by, but we don't have anyone in the bookstore right now. So if you're planning to stop by, let us know that you're going to stop by. But we are at 250 North Church Street in downtown Spartanburg.
All right, and I noticed some of the people this afternoon had done what I asked during the noon hour, and that is, if you're watching this on social media, please share it with your friends on Facebook or retweet it to your followers on Twitter. Or if you're watching on YouTube Live, let people know about it. You've got buttons there, I think, on YouTube to share it on Facebook or share it on Twitter or whatever social media platform you may be using. And then also, if you're watching on Roku on Vision of Truth, or if you're watching visionoftruth.tv, you can also let people know about that however you choose to. But word of mouth is always the best advertising, I think, really on anything. But especially an outreach like this, if you can let people know by the click of a few buttons that this is something that blesses you, and maybe even put a note there that you support it and you're encouraging other people to do the same if they're blessed by it. You never can tell who that might introduce to this work, and maybe just for the sake of them being blessed. But at the same time, you never know if they might be somebody who would turn around and bless the work. And so you can help us out greatly if you would just click the share button right underneath this video that's playing on Facebook that you may be watching. Or if it's Twitter, click the retweet button and let people know that this is going on and that you're a part, and you encourage them to be a part as well. Our time now is 25 minutes after the hour of 5 o'clock Eastern Time. That means we got 35 minutes more to go during this segment of the Radiothon. And, of course, tomorrow we'll be back at the same times as today, noon to 1 p.m. and 5 to 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Saturday morning we'll be here 10 a.m. until noon. I wanted to take a few minutes to talk about Brother Donnie Swaggart coming to Spartanburg next month. We got this set up with Brother Donnie sometime last year. Honestly, I don't remember if it was in the fall of the year exactly when we got things finalized, and then we began to look for a location for the Friday and Saturday night services. And when we finally got able to put down the deposit so that we could talk about it publicly, about the location, we began to do that. And so we've been telling you for a while now that Brother Donnie's meetings on Friday and Saturday nights, May 24th and 25th, will be at 7 p.m. at the Daniel Recital Hall on the Converse College campus right here in downtown Spartanburg. The address of the Converse campus is 580 East Main Street, in case you maybe you're listening or watching somewhere else and you need to put that in your GPS. 580 East Main Street. Somebody was asking me about directions today. My recommendation, if you're coming from the Pine and Main intersection down East Main Street, Converse will be on your left. Go past the main entrance and take a left onto North Fairview Avenue, and then from there you're going to be taking a left to get into one of the parking lots to be near the Daniel Recital Hall. I do plan to go over there as soon as I can. Maybe I'll make it tomorrow afternoon, maybe over the weekend. The main thing is just remembering to. I need to get over there and us write down exact directions to be able to give people over the phone and over the radio. But if you go to the Converse campus, there'll be somebody around that you can ask where the Daniel Recital Hall is, and I'm sure they've got good signage on campus as well. But anyway, that's Friday and Saturday nights, May 24th and 25th, 7 p.m. The doors will open about 1 hour in advance of the service, which means doors will open at approximately 6 p.m. Those who are concerned about getting a particular kind of seat, if you want a seat way down front, or if you don't want to have to sit down front, or whatever the case may be, come a little bit early, come sometime within that first hour, and get the seat that you prefer. Someone also was asking me today about access for people who may be handicapped, or maybe if they have a wheelchair or a walker or an oxygen tank or something like that that they're carrying with them. There is an entrance to the building that is on ground level, and you can go in there and take the elevator up to the floor where the auditorium is. So there's handicapped access as there is in just about any building these days. There'll be good parking, free parking, and the other question that people ask is, do I need a ticket, or do I need to make reservations? And no, these are regular church services in the sense that we do not charge admission. You do not have to have a ticket. There's nothing like that at all. You walk in and you have church. The auditorium seats about 340 people, and we feel like that will be sufficient. A lot of people think that, well, you know, Brother Donnie Swaggart's coming to town. You should have rented the Spartanburg Memorial Auditorium. Well, we would have loved to have been able to do that financially, and we would love to need to do that seat-wise. But honestly, sadly, I don't think that's the case. I'll be pleasantly, well, pleasant in one way. It'll be pleasant that so many people came, but I'll be embarrassed that we can't seat them if a few thousand people show up. But even when they were doing the rallies, you know, and they were getting just a lot of advertisement over SBN, and they were also bringing the singers and musicians with them. Normally, I think, and I hope I'm not misstating anything here, but I think it was about a couple of thousand people that would usually show up for events like that. But that's with a measure of advertising and also bringing in singers and musicians. Now, I'm not saying we won't have any live singers. We may have some surprises to give you when you show up. But we will be using the videos primarily from Family Worship Center like we do here at church. But anyway, it's not on the scale that Pastor Gabe's and Brother Donnie's rallies were. So we don't expect that size crowd. And honestly, there's a lot of folks that say, well, they call up and say, well, I'm going to be coming. I'm thinking about coming. And they never come because it's a lot more difficult to get in the car and go somewhere, even if it's just around the corner, but especially for people out of town, than it is to just talk about it. And so we think the auditorium, seating-wise, will be sufficient for everybody, but get there a little bit early if you would like to do so. Then on Sundays, and you're just working away over there, so I'm trying to do all the talking, but in a minute I'd like to turn it over to you and let you add some things. Sunday, May 26th, the services will be held here at Truth Chapel at 250 North Church Street in the sanctuary. And if we should overflow in the sanctuary, especially Sunday night, we do have a room here upstairs that we're still doing a little bit of work on, but it's going to be ready by then, hopefully ready even way before then. And we call that our overflow room, and it's appropriate for young people to come up and take part in the service there. There'll be a large screen display, a projector there with a large screen and good sound, and it'll be just about like they were in the service downstairs. We say young people because you do have to walk up quite a flight of steps to get up here, and young people are better able to do that, but there will be adult chaperones up here as well to help them out in any way, and I hope we'll have people who can be up here who are willing to pray with them and things like that during an altar call and lead them in worship and so on and so forth. And so that's kind of what it's going to be like. Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday morning, Sunday night. I mentioned 7 o'clock on Friday and Saturday, 10 a.m., 6 p.m. on Sunday, the same times that we normally hold services. And, hey, if you're thinking about coming to see Brother Donnie and you're close enough to come on in now, and we're excited about the phone calls we're getting already and about some people who are coming to church. A lot of times in the past, people said, well, I'm going to come see so-and-so, and I say, well, come on to church now. Well, no, that's okay. I'm just going to come to the crusade.
But we've got some people who have only recently started listening to SBN.
Right.
And so they haven't come because they just didn't know we were here.
They found out about us through the crusade
and
ads.
so
That's right.
they are excited that we are here and
And they're coming already, some of them.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're excited about that, and we do invite you to come this Sunday morning at 10 o'clock. Don't wait till Brother Donnie's here 6 weeks or so from now, but come this Sunday morning, 10 o'clock, and Sunday night at 6 if you can, if you're in the Spartanburg area. Actually, I'm going to say the upstate area because Greenville's not that far to drive from. Cherokee County's not that far. Union County's not that far.
Well, since we have a family driving 3 hours
I was about to mention that.
I don't know of anything that's too far.
They're driving from High Point, North Carolina. It's about 2.5 to 3.5 hour drive, depending on traffic and so forth, they said. And they're not just coming once every couple of months, but they're coming a couple of times per month so far. And Johnny preached for us last Sunday. It was a blessed time in the Lord. And so, yeah, it depends on where people are with their understanding of the message of the cross and the need to be sitting under the right teaching and be in the right spiritual atmosphere. And the people who are realizing that are people like this family who are driving 3 hours a couple of times a month to be with us. And we're thrilled about that. We're thrilled if you come from around the corner or from around the world. We don't care. But if you can come, we just ask that you come. And if you can't, watch on the internet, listen on the radio. But if you can be here, it's not that hard to do for most people. People get concerned about parking and all that. Listen, Sunday mornings and Sunday nights and Wednesday nights, you'll find a place to park. You won't even have to walk a block in most cases. You will find you a place to park. And so please come be a part of this. Apparently, we got a donation to the building fund. I see you just brought it up on the screen. Tell me about it.
Chad and Angel are giving $250 to the building fund.
Praise the Lord. Thank you, Chad and Angel. We appreciate it so much. Wow, what a big leap that is at one time toward our $2,000 goal. That makes us, let me get my percentages right, about 12.5% there. If we were raising 1,000, that would get us about 25% there, so it's about half of that because we're raising 2,000. So about 12.5%, over 10% of the way there now. Toward our goal of $2,000 in the building fund. We still need 269. 269 is needed in the radio fund, and I believe we can get that done before 6 o'clock tonight in the next 25 minutes, and then let's get further along in the building fund as well. But, wow, that's great. That means so far in this radiothon, $1,986 has been given or pledged. And that's almost $2,000. That's outstanding. We're so grateful.
That's wonderful.
So grateful to the Lord and to His people that He's speaking to and the ones who are obeying. Thank you for what you are doing. All right. What else? Anything else about Brother Donnie's meetings you wanted to add?
I don't believe so. I mean, we're all looking forward to it. That's for sure.
Yes, we are. The last time we had Donnie, we figured it up, and it was longer than I thought it was. Longer
when
ago.
Chloe was a baby.
It was about 6 years ago.
Yep.
That we had Brother Donnie, and I was thinking it was more like 4 years ago, but it was 6 years ago, and so that's the last time Donnie was in Spartanburg.
Yeah.
Was that time 6 years ago, and I'll say this kind of as maybe some incentive for you to give if you've not given yet, or especially if you've not ever given at all in a radiothon. This event with Brother Donnie, just like all the events when we have what we call SBN Crusades. Before Donnie, the last people we had from SBN were Dave and Charlotte back last November, right?
I believe so.
And we're about to have John and Josh Rosenstern in September, and you're about to have Sister Charla Parker, Charla Smith. Her maiden name is Parker, and when people put their maiden names on Facebook, it confuses me because I'm easily confused. Sister Charla Smith you're about to have back in October for a ladies' retreat. Maybe I don't know if I have time to talk about that today. Maybe we can talk tomorrow a little bit about the ladies' retreat.
Yeah.
But anyway, my point is this. Every time we do one of these things where we bring one of the ministers in from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, that you are familiar with through the Sun Life Broadcasting Network, it costs us money. It costs the church a lot of money to get them here and to keep them here for several days. And what I mean by that is this. Rarely do they drive in. But if they do drive in, there are still travel expenses, gasoline. We're not going to expect them to buy several tanks of gas or whatever it takes to get here and get back home. So we pay them for that. And then if they are going to, that may mean staying overnight in another town. If they drove in, we would want to cover that. But normally that's not what happens anyway. They fly in, which we totally understand. And if you're buying one round trip ticket for just one person, normally that's what, between $300 and $400, something like that, maybe more.
It just depends, but yeah.
And then sometimes if you have a spouse coming as well, like when Dave and Charlotte both came, that doubles that.
Right.
And so the church covers that. We cover lodging expenses, hotel rooms. If it's a decent hotel room, doesn't have to be anything extravagant, but if it's a decent hotel room in Spartanburg, you're going to pay close to $100 a night or more, and then we want to pay for their meals when they're here. So what I'm saying is the church is doing that to bring Brother Donnie into Spartanburg, as we always do when we bring in anybody from SBN. And so just know this is hosted by the church. This is an outreach to try to reach more people that's costing us a lot of money.
And then at the services, we'll take an offering, but we give it totally to Brother Donnie.
Right,
so,
we don't get anything from that offering.
You know, it's not, we don't make any money that weekend. It's exclusively us giving in every respect.
Exactly. And so, and when we say us, we mean the church.
Right.
It's finances of the church. But this is something that Truth Chapel does that we want to do to reach more people. It's great to, even if all the people who come, and most of them, this is true of, they've already been watching SBN, they know the music, they know the message of the cross, but bringing people together, I believe, has a great spiritual significance.
Yeah.
Because there's not a lot of churches in this area that preach the message of the cross. Therefore, there's not a lot of churches there's none in Spartanburg that I know of besides us who would bring people in from SBN. And so that's why people are willing to drive in for a few hours. We've talked to people from Florida, for example, that are coming in. We'll have probably many people from North Carolina. We'll probably have people from Georgia. And I don't know where else. Actually, I do know we've got some folks coming from West Virginia. And so that's why people are willing to make a great effort as far as their time and as far as their finances to come to something like this, because they want to be where the Spirit of God is going to move in the company of other believers that believe like they do. But it takes some financial doing for the church to be able to do this. And so if that we're not raising money to help finance this crusade during this radiothon. That's not what I'm doing. But you can imagine. And also, I forgot to mention the expense of leasing the auditorium. That's about $1,000. It could be a little bit more than that, but it's going to be about $1,000 more dollars for us to have found a place to bring Brother Donnie into that has adequate seating for the Friday and Saturday night services. That adds up, folks. That adds up to it's going to cost probably at least about $2,500 just in round numbers to bring Brother Donnie in. And like Nikki said, when we take up love offerings during the services, that will go completely, exclusively to Brother Donnie. It will not go to the church. And that's always the agreement we have with the people who come in. And so there's $2,500 more dollars that the church is spending to reach out to people beyond the four walls of the church, but we don't have it in a goal up here that you see on the screen. It's not part of any of these goals. So could you help us with the goals that are there? Help us with a building fund, please. Let's get to $2,000 this month. The more I'm talking about it, the more I'm kind of getting concerned and saying, well, we really better raise that $2,000. We got an extra $2,500 to spend next month.
Yeah.
That and actually, some of it's going to be due soon because we'll need to reimburse Brother Donnie for the airline tickets probably sooner than later.
Yeah.
We won't be waiting till May to do that. So we need your help, folks. Now, if we're doing things like this that are going to bless you and bless other people, even if you can't come, a lot of people will. But we're not going to ask them to help us help the church out and to give a love offering for Brother Donnie at the same time. It'll be exclusively a love offering. Now, if somebody walks up and says, hey, I want to help the church, as happens from time to time, not often, sadly, but from time to time, we're going to say thank you very much and gladly accept it. But we don't receive an official offering for that. But we're taking an offering right now during this radiothon. And I said all that to say this ought to say more than ever how crucial the need is in the building fund goal of $2,000. It's not just something that would be nice to have, but it is something that's essential.
Right.
So help us out if you can.
Right. I'll say real quick about us bringing Brother Donnie here. We have people, it's different. I mean, as great as it is to watch SBN and the preaching and everything, it's different in person. It's, you enjoy getting together with other people and participating in the service. And not everyone is able to go to Baton Rouge to sit in a service there. So when we bring ministers here, it's an opportunity for you to be able to come and actually sit in a service and see them face to face and participate in the service. And so, as you're saying, we don't take up an offering for that. It's just something we provide for the people. It's a blessing to the people, but it's a costly expense.
And when we say we provide it, I mean, to get more specific, it's just like you talked about on the previous hour today about radio. It's the Truth Chapel people that are making this possible for everybody else.
Right.
And so that's why we don't need to feel a bit bad, and I don't, about saying, everybody else, could you chip in and help us with the renovation expenses of this building? Because Truth Chapel people sure are reaching out to reach other people.
They're givers, they're doers, they give sacrificially so over and over again, and it's important to them. It's important to them to see lives changed and lives touched.
They're not just doing it because, well, the pastor and his wife decided to do a radio station, maybe we ought to chip in and help, but they want to see souls reached.
Right. I mean, the gospel means so much to them personally that they want others to have it. And so they give over and over and over again to see the gospel go further and for more people to be reached. So we're asking you, would you do what you're able to do? Would you do something as well? We need to meet that $1,600 goal in radio. That's just to pay bare minimum bills. We need to reach that $2,000 minimum goal in building. And again, that's bare minimum. That's bare minimum needs bills to pay. And so we're asking you, would you do something? And perhaps if God's laying something on your heart even bigger than what our goal is, it's needed as well. So, talk to us, pray about it. We'll be glad to sit down with you and discuss it because we need your support.
Right. You know what somebody could do? Maybe somebody's listening who could do this, and maybe it's the Lord's will. Maybe it's just out of my mind and not from the Lord. A person would have to pray about that and get the mind of the Lord themselves. But if somebody would say, I'm going to issue a $1,000 challenge in the building fund. If they say, and I'm talking about somebody who's able to do it, not talking about breaking the bank for somebody, but somebody maybe the Lord's already been dealing with about giving, and they turned it into a challenge and they said, listen, I'm going to give $1,000 into the building fund if you can raise an additional $1,000 before the radiothon's over with. Please don't give us a challenge like that and say you got to raise it in 15 minutes because things don't usually go that way. But if you said, if you did something like that and gave some incentive to other people and they knew basically that their gift was going to be doubled, that if you give, $50 toward that next $1,000, that means they're going to give 50 of their $1,000. That's a pretty good deal if you know you're going to give into something and it's going to get doubled. If you love what you're giving into, and I trust that you do or you wouldn't be doing it, then you should be thrilled to think, well, every time I do something, this other person is going to match it up to $1,000. So if somebody could issue that challenge of $1,000, if you're able to do that, and I'm not talking to anybody that's already given. I'm not necessarily talking to anybody that gives regularly. It may be somebody we don't even know, but if you're listening now and you say, I could do that. I hear what they're saying about the radio outreach. I know it's there. I've listened to it. I know it's a blessing to me. It must help people. If you hear what we're saying about the crusade with Brother Donnie and all the other events we just barely mentioned that are going to be going on the rest of this year that are open to everybody. It's for everybody to come and be a part of. But the church is footing the bill to make this happen. And if that touches your heart and you say, well, they're doing the best that they can by faith, and we are. We're not doing it by a bank account. We're doing it by faith and by, we believe, obedience to the Lord. And if you would say, I'm going to issue a challenge to get more people to give, and I'm going to do my part toward that $2,000 goal. I'm going to give $1,000. It may not be $1,000, but I'm just picking that number. I'm going to give $1,000, let's say, and I want them to match it before the radiothon's over. Do you realize that would bring us to $2,254 when it's over and done with, or maybe more, and then we would slightly exceed our goal? What a blessing that would be. After I just enumerated $2,500 worth of expenses the church is going to incur probably to make the Donnie Swaggart Crusade happen, you can see that we can use it, right? We certainly can use your help. Would you pray about it? Would you do something? Even in the next, what do we got? 13 minutes left in this hour. Even in the next 13 minutes, somebody could respond and let us know what they're going to do. Or maybe you want to wait and show up in person. We'll have somebody here at the bookstore from 10 a.m. until 1 p.m. tomorrow. So during that live hour from noon to 1, somebody will be here. Somebody will be here 2 hours prior to that. You can come by and talk to us personally. You could do it tonight by leaving a voicemail or by going online and doing it, texting, whatever. Nikki's about to give you that information again. Please pray about doing this. Folks, the time is short. The hour is late to get the word out. The opposition is to a degree and a level that I never imagined. I know it's in the Word of God, but sometimes you don't know exactly how it's going to play out, in the natural. And what I'm seeing going on now, both politically, in society, in the religious world, every aspect, I never thought I would see the opposition to the work of God be this great. And I got news for you. It's only going to increase.
Right.
The opposition is only going to increase. And let's don't be barely scraping by and not able to do some of these things God's telling us to do to get people saved and to bless the believer and pull them out of false doctrine and get them into right thinking and right believing in these last days. Do your part, ladies and gentlemen. Please, please do your part.
Right. We need you to give, and you can give now by going to our website, WXPSFM.com. And let me go ahead and say before we do go off the air that you can give at that website at any time. So even when we go off the air, you can go to WXPSFM.com and click on the donate link, and it will take you safely and securely through PayPal. You can give us a call at 864-327-8725. If you call and you don't get an answer, just leave your name and phone number, and we will call you back, and then we can take your credit or debit card information and process that. Again, the phone number to call is 864-327-8725. You can text the word GIVE, G-I-V-E, to 864-507-9382. It's an automated system, and when you text the word GIVE to that phone number, it will immediately come back and ask you for your credit and debit card information, and it will immediately process it. So it's 864-507-9382. Text the word GIVE. You can mail a check or money order to P.O. Box 1905, Spartanburg, South Carolina, 29304. But if you're going to do that, let us know what you're sending so we can include it in today's totals. Or during bookstore hours, which will be open again, as Scott said, tomorrow at 10, when the bookstore opens, you can stop by. We're at 250 North Church Street in downtown Spartanburg, and you can stop by with your donation.
All right. Right quick, can you pull up the slide from our regular slide presentation that we're always running and bring up the one about the Sound of Truth Radio T-shirts? I want to encourage people, once again, to go to Amazon.com, or if it's in that presentation there, if the radio shirt's there, let's do that one. That'd be easier. I want to encourage people to get themselves one of these Sound of Truth Radio T-shirts that we're about to show you on the screen here, and you can order it from Amazon.com, and you have your choice of colors. You have your choice of sizes. We have these both in children's and adult sizes, right? So you can get them down to this, toddler sizes?
We have them in men's, women's, and children. And I say women's because that's the cut a little bit differently.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and on that screen here, this is kind of an old slide. It says you can search for Save the Babies T-shirt on Amazon, but you now have CorbinDesigns.com.
Website, yes.
So give them that website.
It's Corbin-Designs.com.
So Corbin and then a hyphen symbol and then designs.com.
Yeah, if you just do CorbinDesigns.com, it takes you to another person's website. So make sure you put the little hyphen mark in there, and it will take you to my website, and then there's a link there that takes you straight to Amazon to shop for it.
All right. And do you remember what colors this one's available in?
I don't. They're available in 5 colors. I remember white is obviously one of the colors. Yellow, I think, is one of them. I want to say maybe orange is one of them.
I think so, yeah.
And I don't remember what the other 2 were.
Can you go to the next slide? I believe it shows the back of the shirt. This T-shirt, by the way, is front and back. On the front, as you just saw, it says Sound of Truth Radio. On the back, it says 92.1 FM, but it also gives the website, wxpsfm.com. And so even if you're wearing this outside of Spartanburg and they can't pick it up where they are, on the FM dial, they can get it online by wxpsfm.com. And there's attractive logos both on the front and the back. There's the radio tower logo on the front, and then the microphone and headphone logo on the back. And this will be, I especially like that white one. I think it'd be an attention getter. For those of you that are not watching but you're listening, the lettering on the shirt is gray and dark red with a white T-shirt in this case. But like Nikki said, the shirt is available in 4 additional colors besides white: men's sizes, women's sizes, and children's sizes. And we just want you to get one. If you love this radio station, and especially if you're a supporter of it, get you one of these by going to Corbin Designs. That's Corbin-Designs.com, and then you will find the link there to go to Amazon.com and order. And by the way, this is not anything that makes any money for the church, nor for us personally. Though the website is CorbinDesigns.com, it's simply there because Nikki did design the shirt, but we are selling this shirt for really what Amazon is charging us. And there's not money in it for the church, and certainly not for us personally. So we're not trying to make money with this, and you're not really helping us move along in these goals at all. We just mention it because it'll help get the word out about the radio station, which gets the gospel out.
Right. If you enjoy the station and you want other people to know about it, it's a great thing to get, to be able to wear and let other people know. And if you don't have the ability to go on Amazon and order, you can always stop by our bookstore when it's open, and we can write down your order if you go ahead and prepay, and then we'll get it ordered for you. So be sure to do that. And me also, while I say that, remind you that this month of April, the bookstore is not going to be open as often as usual because of camp meeting coming up. But so be sure to check the the True Chapel Bookstore Facebook page for when we are going to be open and not open.
Also, a couple of other things right quick before we close out with a song. Speaking of camp meeting, we're going to be airing all the camp meeting services live here on this radio station. That's going to be an added blessing for our radio listeners. You might not be at home during some of the services during the day, or at night you may be out in the car doing something and you need to listen on radio instead of watching on SBN at home. And so we're going to provide that for you. And also, speaking of T-shirts, that reminded me, and we've got just like 1 minute for you to give a quick teaser about it, and then we'll talk more about it tomorrow. But we've got Crossword Youth Camp coming up in the month of July, and there's a T-shirt for that for those who want to come. I guess I could buy a T-shirt even if they don't come to camp, but because we've had people just want one of our, because you designed some great camp T-shirts, and some people like I think in Baton Rouge one time, didn't they want some?
Yeah.
So I don't want to talk about that T-shirt so much right now, but we do have a camp coming up for young people that's going to run a Wednesday through a Sunday in July. Have you got those dates on the top of your head?
July 10th is the start.
July the 10th through the 14th, I believe that would be. And so we're going to be talking more about that maybe tomorrow as well. So you got to remind me, we're going to talk about the camp tomorrow, talk about your ladies' retreat tomorrow.
We need to talk about a lot of upcoming events tomorrow. We got we have a lot of things coming up at the church, and I'm excited about it all and looking forward to whatever else God opens.
And all the things we're talking about are things that are open to the public, to everybody, not just in it. We want to talk about it here to get the word out, but also to remind you of some things we are doing that reaches out beyond just the people that come to Truth Chapel. And it's the people at Truth Chapel that are giving on a weekly basis that makes these things possible.
Right.
That's why we ask you to give during the Radiothon. Also, right quick, and we will close with this, tell them about the movie quickly, just briefly, tomorrow night.
I don't remember the name, sir.
Unbroken.
We're going to be showing the movie Unbroken tomorrow night at 7 p.m. And we haven't really discussed a lot, but I think we will probably have refreshments before time since the weather is better. Is it supposed to rain tomorrow?
Yes, it's supposed to rain.
Maybe
so
not.
Maybe not. We'll do. That's
yeah. You just
iffy.
kind of threw this on me, and so
It's supposed to rain tomorrow.
We'll announce better tomorrow when I.
But we're showing Rain or Shine, the movie at
Yes.
7 o'clock. That's what matters the most.
Yes.
And it is a movie about a man. It's Louis. Is it Zamperini or I never can remember because it's a funny last name, but he was in the war. Came home with a lot of problems from that. Was a runner even before he went to war, I believe it was, and then tried to get back into that afterwards, if I'm remembering the story correctly. But the main thing is all the struggles he was having and all the things, the torment he was dealing with, when he gave his heart and life to Jesus Christ, everything changed. And so it's a Christian movie, glorifies the Lord. That's what it's all about. We want you to come see it for free, tomorrow night, right here in the sanctuary of Truth Chapel, 250 North Church Street. We're going to be looking for you. I'll let you close it out right quick.
Right. Make sure, remember, you can give even when we go off the air. So if you haven't given already, please pray about doing so. And so that when we come back, we have some new totals to announce, and we need you to be a part of it.
All right. Thank you for joining us. Have a great evening. God bless you.
You're listening to WXPS LP 92.1 FM in Spartanburg, South Carolina.